I'm Louise Perrone and I'm a Vancouver-based jewellery artist. I work with waste textiles and waste plastic and hand sewing. I learned to make jewellery at Alberta College of Art and Design. In 2002, I graduated and moved out here, and I got a part-time job at Vancouver Art Gallery gift store, which leads me to my exhibition, Fruits of My Labour. Fruits of My Labour is a commentary on the place of jewellery in the museum, the gallery and the gift shop. So for me, as a jewellery maker, my work is most often seen in, or expected to be seen, in a space like a gift shop at a museum or gallery. Most people who visit a museum or art gallery are going to purchase maybe a pencil or a postcard or a pin from the gift shop rather than a big painting or sculpture. So one part of my exhibition, the installation, is the visitor's book, which is one of the ways that the visitors to a museum or gallery are able to participate in an exhibition. And so I've got a very generic looking visitor's book and the safety pen that can't be stolen, so that the visitor gets a chance to make a comment and leave their mark in my installation. For those of you that know my work, you'll recognize that this chain is something that I've used in some of my pieces, and other art jewelers use this kind of chain. So that's a nod to that kind of jewelry. The other thing that if you sign the book that you'll notice is that the pen's placed on the left-hand side. And that's because I'm actually left-handed myself, and it's a situation that left-handed people will often be frustrated by, that it's difficult to sign something with a pen that's attached on the right-hand side. So the reason for doing this is to put people in an uncomfortable position and make them realize how privileged they are in ways that they don't even realize. So when I was creating this installation, I thought about the space here at the Craft Council. And a few years ago, they extended the space to include this area that I'm standing in here right now, which is kind of a small side part to the gallery. And I thought that would be perfect to create this representation of the gift store in a museum. So I've got postcards, pencils and pins, and I'm going to talk about the pins first. In the UK, where I grew up, we call them badges. In Canada, I think we call them pins, but they're the generic kind of button that's often used for political campaigns, and you can find them for charities, for free, given out. Sometimes you can buy them. They're really collectible. When I was a girl, I did have a collection of badges for a while. I don't know what's happened to it. I've got one left, which I got when I was an art student in England, and it's from an art exhibition at the Royal Academy of Art of pop art. And it was really influential on my work, as you may have noticed from some of the imagery in this show. This particular pin uses an image of the banana split necklace, and it's got in very small writing the name of my show and my name, and that references that particular pin, which says "Slip It to Me." These pins are displayed on a canvas. The canvas is purchased from Michaels. It's from a range of canvases that are made specifically for students. I think it's called the academic range or something, or scholars. And what was interesting about this canvas when I bought it was that it's labeled very clearly with a picture of a camera on it, and the dimensions of the canvas are made to be photographed. It fits perfectly in a cell phone photo frame, which I think is interesting, that people are thinking about making paintings that are then going to be photographed. And that is something that as artists we all understand now that so many more people will see our work as a photo than will ever see it in real life. On the longer wall, we've got the postcards and the pencils. The pencils are printed with gold writing that has my name in the name of the show. It's a souvenir that you can take home, but you can also use to draw and write and maybe make some art yourself. It's deliberately this white pencil with gold writing, and the red eraser references jewellery in a way. It's like a gem setting holding a gem. So these are my postcards, which are actually available in the gift shop. They are a silk finish postcard. So when you pick one up, it feels very nice and tactile, and it references fabric, of course, which is what I use in my work. There are 3 different images from the show. I haven't made a postcard of every single image in the show because when you visit a museum, it's often the case that you can't find the postcard of the painting that you really want. The jewellery pieces in this show are displayed on mirrors, and that's because they're cut in half. So the way I make these pieces is I've taken plastic, toy, play, fruit and vegetables and cut them in half, and then I've covered them in this fabric. So when I put them on the mirror, you get to see the whole fruit at once. I'm going to pick one up to show you the banana. This is a necklace, and it's made from grapes and a plastic banana. It has a magnetic closure, so you can put it on like this. And when you're not wearing it, you can store it as a whole banana. And with the brooches, I haven't displayed the backs with them, but they come with magnetic backs, and which will also fit together like this. So when you're not wearing them, they come back to their original form and they create a very nice tactile object. So here's the aubergine brooch. So the fabric I've used is waste fabric that I got. Some of it is from Fab Cycle in Vancouver, and some of it's from Our Social Fabric, and they're both excellent places to get dead stock on waste fabric. It's a swimsuit fabric, which is a kind of fabric which I think has, for a lot of people, swimsuits are a problematic garment. They can cause anxiety and problems with body image that's perpetuated by the media. And so using this fabric to create jewelry objects is a deliberate choice for me. The fabric, when it's stretched over something, conceals a lot, but it also reveals maybe more than it conceals. It makes things more tactile, interesting, seductive. So the fabrics I use in my work are often very colourful, and they have a certain luster, and I've chosen those deliberately to reference the anodized aluminum that I used to use when I was working in metal. And I've noticed that other jewelers, when they approach my work maybe from a distance, they're confused about what it's made of. And then textile artists are also interested in how I construct, and that's one of the elements of being a metalsmith working with textiles that I think makes my work interesting to some people. So the main part of the gallery is organized to reference a traditional, the White Cube, the museum, the Western Gallery. My work's on plinths. The visitor's book is on a plinth even. And then the pieces are displayed very generically in white frames with white mats. The labels follow traditional gallery style labels. The lighting, everything is very pared back, and that's in contrast to what you see in the rest of this space, which is the Craft Council of BC shop, where loads and loads of BC craft artists are selling their work. So the photographs in my show are referencing Mannerist portraiture, Bronzino portraits specifically, which show elongated hands and very forced poses. And I think it's a reflection on our current sort of selfie culture and social media portraits that we see. They're printed on a matte photo paper, and they're deliberately made to look a little bit like a screen print. And obviously you can, if you know anything about the history of art, and I've already mentioned pop art, there's a reference to Andy Warhol in this work. The model in the photos is actually my daughter, the fruit of my labor. And she's modeled for me in the past for my jewelry. As a jewelry designer, and anyone who's a jewelry designer watching this, you will know that photographing jewelry on the body is an essential part of sharing your jewelry with the world. And it's also one of the most difficult parts, thinking about who you choose to model, the poses you put the model in, the look of the whole shoot. And in these images, you can see the model is completely obliterated in this bodysuit. And actually, the color of the model and the background has been desaturated. There's no color in that image. All the color, all the focus is on the jewelry. And this is kind of a nod to all the frustrated jewelers who've taken their work to a photographer to be photographed on a model, and the jewelry's out of focus, or the jewelry isn't the main focus of the picture. It's also thinking these images have come about during COVID, where we're covering our faces. At the beginning, people were wearing gloves a lot, and I was thinking about this, the way that we're concealing ourselves, just like my fruit pieces are concealing the plastic underneath. This is concealing the whole body, and it's almost like the body and the jewelry are the same. So it was interesting for me when I was watching the Met Gala this year to see Kim Kardashian wearing the Balenciaga outfit, which I'm going to show you here. I wasn't surprised at all to see that image. I'd been thinking about this kind of image for about at least a year, and I think it captures the spirit of what's been happening in the last 2 years in many ways. And I was excited that that was happening just before my show. So another element of my show is that all of the fittings in the gallery, the shelves and the frames, these mirrors, the sheet that's hanging in the photograph are from IKEA, somewhere that the masses can go and buy a lifestyle for not very much money that's been mass produced. You can read more about my exhibition online at craftcouncilbc.ca/fruits. And be sure to give me a follow at louise.perrone, and for more craft content, follow at Craft Council BC on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And finally, please join us on November 25th for wine and cheese at the closing reception of my exhibition, Fruits of My Labour. Thank you very much.